our longest trusted English newspaper since 1898. Now available digitally. Computer, order the Manila Times Digital Edition. Subscribed. Get the Manila Times Digital Edition for less than 2 pesos and 50 centavos per day when you sign up for 1 year. The Manila Times, news source of choice, trusted since 1898.
Good day. Here are the stories for the Manila Times for Saturday, May 28, 2022. China will hold naval exercises in the South China Sea on Saturday, its maritime authorities said after a week of recrimination from Western powers over its military ambitions across the Pacific region. The exercises, set to take place in the sea less than 25 kilometers or 15.5 miles off the coast of South China Sea's Hainan province, come as the United States leads warnings over China's growing military and economic presence in an area spanning from the South China Sea to the Pacific Islands. China routinely conducts similar drills in waters near its shores, with an exercise in another area of the sea near Hainan scheduled for next week, as well as multiple others along the country's eastern coastline. But the latest exercises come as Beijing faces a growing chorus of warnings from the United States and Western allies over its naval ambitions, with critics say are a beachhead for a wider attempt to change the regional balance of power. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Thursday accused Beijing of raising tensions over Taiwan, which China claims as part of its territory. Restricting the access of journalists to President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. is not and will never be a policy of the incoming administration, his spokesman said Friday. Vic Rodriguez Marcos, a longtime chief of staff and executive secretary-designate, made the clarification after the Marcos camp was called out for allowing only 3 television networks, which is Net25, SMNI, and GMA7, to cover the incoming leader's first interview last Thursday after his proclamation. Rodriguez assured that it was not their intention to favor any network, nor do they intend to exclude anyone. Benjamin Jokno, the chosen finance secretary of President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., has played down concerns over the Philippines' increasing debt, saying the country is still well-positioned to meet its obligations. In an interview on ANC on Friday, Jokno, the former chief of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, said that in his more than 30 years in the government, he has seen the Philippines' worst crisis and believes the country can better manage its debt this time. A high school student from the Bicol region won the 10th ASEAN Quiz National Competition held last week at the People's Television or PTV studios in Quezon City. Armela Persia, who studies at the Donsol National Comprehensive School, took home a cash prize of 50,000 pesos and a college scholarship from STI. Second place went to the National Region's Brian James Sardenya of Pinagbuhatan High School, Pasig City, and third place to Cagayan Valley Region's K. Calpito of Cabaroguis National School of Arts and Trades in Quirino. Sardenya received a 30,000 peso cash prize and Calpito 20,000 pesos. They also each received 4-year scholarships from STI. The 3 will represent the Philippines in the regional level of the 10th ASEAN Quiz to be held in Myanmar later this year. From posting criticisms online, lawyer Beatrix Trixie Cruz Angeles will now be the main source of information regarding major updates and movements of the incoming Marcos administration. President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. or BBM recently named the lawyer-turned-vlogger as press secretary-designate and will be taking over the reins at the Presidential Communications Operations Office or PCOO. Cruz Angeles' old posts on microblogging site Twitter against the Marcoses resurfaced, something she acknowledged and insisted is now a thing of the past ever since she changed her mind. One of the tweets that circulated online was from November 2016, where Cruz Angeles expressed her outrage over how, quote, Not a single Marcos was ever convicted after the 1986 People Power Revolt. That and a few other anti-Marcos posts have since been deleted, but screenshots of which have been captured and shared by netizens online. The incoming PCOO chief, making a return to Malacanang after her stint as the agency's social media strategist from 2017 to 2018, insisted she has brushed off her past sentiments against the family of her new boss and even discussed it at length with Marcos Jr. immediately after being informed of her new assignment in the government. Amid transitional challenges, Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo said he is expecting that the incoming administration would expedite the establishment of the newly created Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, so that the agency may become operational and serve migrant workers immediately. President Rodrigo Duterte signed Republic Act 11641 on December 30, 2021, creating the DMW in a bid to improve coordination among agencies dealing with the concerns of Filipino migrant workers. The Senate version of the act, Senate Bill 2234, authored and co-sponsored by Go, is a consolidated version of an earlier bill he introduced to establish the Department of Overseas Filipino Workers, which would ensure the efficient and effective delivery of critical public services to Filipino migrant workers. Go said that the DMW aims to sufficiently and efficiently commit the government's resources to defend and safeguard the rights and interests of the country's modern-day heroes, citing the immense hardships encountered by Filipino migrant workers. Topping business, the Bureau of the Treasury said the government's budget balance became positive in April as revenues surpassed spending. The surplus at 4.9 billion pesos was a sharp contrast to the 44.4 billion shortfall a year earlier. Year-to-date, the balance was 311.9 billion pesos in deficit, down 14.75% from the 365.9 billion pesos posted in the same period in 2021. According to the Treasury, the April result was attributable to faster year-over-year revenue collected growth of 19.19% against the marginal 1.98% increase in public expenditures. Revenues were 348 billion, up from 291.9 billion a year ago, and spending was 343 billion, rising from 336.3 billion. In sports, National University faces Ateneo de Manila University in a bid to extend its winning run to 9 games in the UAAP Season 84 Women's Volleyball Tournament at the Mall of Asia Arena on Saturday. Game is set for 4 p.m. The Lady Bulldogs have won all their 8 games in the tournament, including their 25-21, 25-20, 25-17 win over De La Salle University on Thursday. NU head coach Carl De Maculangan said he didn't expect his team to be 8-0 at this point, as all he and his team have been doing is to prepare and let go of the result. Antonio Contreras, Yen Macabenta, and Danton Remoto are today's front-page columnists. Contreras discusses the illiberal academia. Macabenta asks if a president should hit the ground running and blaze 100 days, and Remoto tackles what could be the third Filipino Catholic saint. Today's editorial welcomes the incoming Marcos administration's economic team picks. Read a full version of the paper's opinion section or listen to the Voice of the Times. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print. Subscribe to its digital edition or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And keep up with the Times. This is EJ Gomez reporting.